Welcome to our channel. Today, we pause to remember a life that touched hearts and left a lasting impact. We'll explore their journey, the challenges they faced, and the moments that made them unforgettable. Join us as we honor their story, celebrate their legacy, and reflect on the memories that will continue to inspire and live on in the hearts of those who knew them. In the roaring stadiums of the 1970s, when football was fierce and unforgiving, one man stood quietly in the shadows of greatness. His name was Mike Wagner. While others chased headlines, he chased perfection. And in doing so, he became a vital piece of one of the most powerful dynasties the game has ever known. Wagner was a safety for the legendary Pittsburgh Steelers. During a decade that would later be called football's golden era, he helped anchor a defense so dominant it earned a name that still echoes through history, the Steel Curtain. This was not just a nickname. It was a warning. Born with quiet determination, Wagner did not seek the spotlight. He was not the loudest voice in the locker room. He did not celebrate wildly after every play. Instead, he studied. He listened. He prepared. On the field, his eyes were always moving, reading the offense, predicting the next step before it happened. At safety, he carried enormous responsibility. He was the last line of defense. If a mistake happened in front of him, he had to fix it. There was no room for hesitation. And again, he delivered. The Steelers of the 1970s were filled with strong personalities and Hall of Fame talent. Yet Wagner's calm presence helped hold it all together. He understood teamwork in its purest form. Every tackle he made, every pass he defended, was not for glory. It was for the man beside him. Between 1974 and 1979, the Steelers captured 4 championships on football's biggest stage, Super Bowl titles that would define an era. Wagner was there for each one. He stood tall under the bright lights, facing the greatest offenses in the game. And when the pressure was highest, he remained steady. In championship moments, defenses win games. And in those moments, Wagner's discipline made the difference. He trusted his training. He trusted his teammates. He trusted the system. That trust became the backbone of a dynasty. The Steel Curtain defense became feared across the league. Quarterbacks knew that one mistake could change everything. Receivers felt footsteps behind them. And often, those footsteps belonged to Wagner. Yet off the field, he remained humble. Fame never seemed to change him. He carried himself with quiet pride, knowing that his work spoke louder than words. Teammates respected him not just for his skill, but for his character. Coaches valued his intelligence and his ability to stay composed when chaos surrounded him. Football in the 1970s was physical. It was raw. Players battled through pain without complaint. Wagner embodied that toughness. He showed up every Sunday ready to compete. No excuses. No drama. Just focus. As the years passed, the Steelers' dynasty became part of NFL history. The banners still hang. The trophies still shine. And woven into that legacy is the steady presence of Mike Wagner, the silent guardian who protected the back end of a legendary defense. When fans remember the Steel Curtain, they often think of its power. But behind that power was discipline. Behind the big hits was preparation. And behind the glory was a man who understood that greatness is built on sacrifice. Mike Wagner's story is not one of loud speeches or dramatic headlines. It is a story of reliability. Of showing up when it mattered most. Of putting the team above the self. In an era filled with giants, he stood firm, not in front of the spotlight, but in its shadow. And sometimes, that is where true strength lives. His legacy remains in every defensive back who studies the game film a little longer. In every player who chooses teamwork over fame. And in every championship banner that reminds the world of a time when Pittsburgh ruled the football world. The steel curtain may have been made of many men. But it was protected, watched over, and strengthened by one silent guardian, Wagner. In New York City, the music never truly stops. But this week, the rhythm feels softer. The passing of Willie Colón, born William Anthony Colón Roman, has left a quiet space in the sound of a generation. He was more than a musician. He was a voice of the barrio. A storyteller with a trombone in his hands and history in his heart. Born in the Bronx to Puerto Rican parents, Colón grew up surrounded by culture, struggle, and pride. The streets shaped him. The music saved him. As a young teenager, he picked up the trombone and found his calling. By the late 1960s, he was already changing the sound of Latin music in New York. His bold arrangements and raw street style stood apart. He helped build the powerful movement that would define the era of Fania Records. Together with singer Hector Lavoe, Colón created songs that carried real stories. Songs about love. About hardship. About pride and pain. Their music spoke directly to working-class families who saw their own lives in the lyrics. He did not polish the truth. He played it loud. Colón's trombone became a signature sound. Strong. Deep. Unmistakable. It cut through crowded dance halls and city blocks alike. Salsa was no longer just dance music. It became identity. Over time, he became known as one of the architects of New York salsa. A producer. A band leader. A visionary. His albums shaped a generation of artists who followed. But Colón's impact reached beyond music. He spoke openly about social justice and political issues affecting the Latino community. He believed music should reflect real life. Salsa is the newspaper of the streets, he once said in an interview. It tells people what's happening. Those words defined his mission. As news of his passing spread, tributes poured in from across the world. Fellow musicians called him a pioneer. Fans shared memories of dancing at weddings, family parties, and neighborhood festivals to his songs. One longtime friend said, "Willie gave our community a soundtrack. He made us feel seen." Another artist wrote online, "Without Willie Colón, there is no modern salsa." In the 1970s and beyond, he continued to evolve. He explored new sounds. He collaborated with major voices. He carried salsa from the streets of the Bronx to global stages. Yet he never forgot where he came from. He often returned to themes of culture and belonging. His work honored the immigrant story. It honored resilience. Through rhythm and brass, he told the world that Latino voices mattered. For many, his music marked important moments in life. First dances. Family gatherings. Celebrations that lasted until sunrise. His songs became part of memory itself. Even younger generations, who discovered his work decades later, felt the power of his sound. The energy remained timeless. The message remained clear. Willie Colón did not simply perform music. He helped shape a movement. He carried the heartbeat of New York's Latino community into the mainstream. He proved that stories from the barrio could echo around the world. Today, the trombone is quiet. But the rhythm he created still moves through speakers, through dance floors, through city streets. His legacy lives in every salsa band that dares to tell the truth. In every young musician who picks up an instrument with pride. In every family that gathers and presses play. Willie Colón turned struggle into song. He turned culture into celebration. And though he is gone, his music, will never fade. On a quiet afternoon in Pittsburgh, the news was confirmed. Bill Mazeroski, the steady second baseman whose single swing changed baseball history, has passed away. For many, his name will forever echo with one moment. One crack of the bat. One ball sailing over a left field wall. But his story was far greater than one swing. Born William Stanley Mazeroski, he grew up with a deep love for the game. Baseball was not just a sport in his hometown. It was a dream. And that dream led him to the Pittsburgh Pirates, where he would spend his entire major league career. From the very beginning, Mazeroski was known for his glove. His defense at second base was almost flawless. Quick hands. Strong arm. Sharp instincts. He made difficult plays look routine. Teammates trusted him. Pitchers relied on him. He saved more runs than most people ever realized, one former teammate once said. You felt safe with him behind you. That quiet dependability became his trademark. Throughout the 1950s and 1960s, he earned a reputation as one of the finest defensive second basemen in baseball. Awards followed. Respect followed. But fame arrived in a single, unforgettable moment. It was October 13, 1960. Game 7 of the World Series. The Pirates were facing the powerful New York Yankees. The score was tied in the bottom of the ninth inning. Mazeroski stepped to the plate. He was not known as a power hitter. No one expected what happened next. The pitch came. The bat connected. The ball soared deep into left field. And then, it cleared the wall. It remains the only walk-off home run in Game 7 of a World Series in Major League history. In that instant, the Pirates were champions. And Bill Mazeroski became part of baseball forever. Fans poured onto the field. Teammates surrounded him. The city of Pittsburgh erupted in celebration. Years later, Mazeroski would humbly reflect on that moment. I just wanted to get on base, he once said. I never thought it would end like that. His words captured his character, modest, grounded, team first. But that swing did more than win a championship. It ended a Yankees dynasty. It reminded fans that baseball can surprise the world in a heartbeat. Beyond that historic home run, Mazeroski's career stood on consistency. He played with loyalty, spending 17 seasons with the Pirates. He became a symbol of stability in a changing era of sports. When he was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, many praised not just his famous swing, but his lifetime of excellence. A fellow Hall of Famer once said, Maz played the game the right way. Every single day. After news of his passing, tributes spread quickly. The Pirates organization released a statement saying, Bill Mazeroski gave the city one of its greatest sports memories. His legacy will live forever in Pittsburgh. Fans shared stories of watching that 1960 game with parents and grandparents, passing the memory down through generations. In the end, Mazeroski's life was not defined by noise or spotlight. It was defined by dedication. By teamwork. By doing the small things right. And yes, by one perfect swing. Today, the field at Forbes Field is long gone. The stadium has changed. The game has evolved. But that moment in 1960 still lives in highlight reels and family stories. Bill Mazeroski reminded the world why baseball matters. Because in one simple moment, anything is possible. His name will forever be linked to October glory. To quiet greatness. To a swing that echoed through time. And as long as the story of the World Series is told, his final home run will continue to rise into the sky, carrying his legacy with it.